Is this a work of art? What is this? Somebody who hasn't been here before, tell me what you think this is. No takers? Nobody? Who thinks it is a work of art? None of you. So you don't think it's a work of art. If it's not a work of art, what is it? It's an illustration. Well, what's the difference between an illustration and a work of art? I would say the difference is the illustrator here chose to eliminate anything that interfered with the representation of the color and shape and character of a specific species of apple. This rendering would allow you to take a print of this into a huge grocery shop where there are hundreds of apple varieties and choose and find this specific apple, this variety. It's very effective. So it belongs in a book on horticulture, not in a museum. Well, what would we expect from it if it were a work of art? First of all, if we look at a Chardin, we look and we see Chardin has transformed the fruit into a collection of geometric solids. He said, this is a truncated cone. Got it? And he's saying this, with this truncation here, is a truncated sphere. Got it? He's translated it into this. Then he's saying, in addition to that, I'm going to have the light coming here, I'm going to have shadow on this side, and I'm going to have my core of the shadow here, and I'm going to have a reflected light there. I've got a cast shadow defining the plane upon which this pear sits. I'm now describing depth of space, and one presumes an ant could be seen passing behind this pear. So he's lit it, he's colored it, but he's reconstructed it because he has to achieve on a two-dimensional surface the illusion of the third dimension. Now that's a lie. Your flat piece of paper has only two dimensions, height and width. So you have to start tricking the eye and playing games, and this is how we start. We look at an apple that has no form, is as flat and uninteresting as anything could be, and we realize that if we wish to turn it into a three-dimensional solid, we're going to have to give it three faces. Each face is going to have a different value. The core of the shadow has to be advancing and come forward. We need reflected light coming into the shadow side, and the cast shadow should describe the plane upon which the object sits. And if we can't do those things, we'll end up with two-dimensional fruit. It's good enough for Matisse, wasn't good enough for Cézanne, wasn't good enough for Fontaine-Latour. I presume it won't be good enough for you. So we have to transform the fruit into a plane on the top and a plane in front and a plane on the side and a cast shadow on this and a light that reflects into it, and the core comes forward, and each of these planes has to have a different value. And suddenly we have clarity. But what we see out of our kitchen window is almost useless. Copying that's a waste of time. That isn't what's going to create a still life for us. Now, I like to think of these apples by Ellsworth Kelly as a bunch of puppies cavorting. They're dolphins. They're little animals. They're kids. They're giggling, they're laughing, they're teasing, they're frolicking. They're full of humor. I've got to remember who Ellsworth Kelly is. He's an ancient American grand artist who does huge geometric pieces of metal that are painted one color. They're all exquisitely warped planes that are two-dimensional. But he loves to do fruit, veg, and plants, and he's doing it here. And let's take a minute and look at these, because they had to be thoroughly transformed to be filled with the humor and the mirth that he wished to express in this drawing. So the first thing he does is he's not drawing apples at all. And to get these to tip in different directions, he has to do what we had suggested earlier. He has to transform these into three-dimensional solids, and without that process, they aren't rolling or turning or changing direction at all. So, if we agree that he's done this, we end up with this. Now, they're a riot. They're running all over the place. They're rolling and twisting, and they're really having a very good time. And these are related in that thrust. That is a coincidence. It coincides with three of these, and we get this running here as well. We have quite a variety of thrusts and directions running through these apples. Now, they're in a root 5 rectangle, and they're in overlapped root 5 rectangles, but I'm not going to belabor that today. So, this is a coincidence from this point to that point to that. This coincides to this point. This hits here, and it hits there. This comes through to that point. This hits here and that. This comes down to this. These two are connecting. This is parallel to that. This and this are parallel. This is no accident. This is an organized ensemble. This is a major piece of design. Now, he's done other things here as well. At each of these points, there's a vertical. And this coincides with that. This coincides with this. This coincides with that. This is coming down. This hits here. This one hits there. We have horizontal lines running through here. This is coming through. This is coming through. This connects. You begin to see what's going on top of all those diagonals that we had earlier. But there's a curvilinear element in this as well, because the arabesque flows. Do you see it? The arabesque flows through all of this. All of these flowing movements carry us through the whole game. All of this is going on. This is subliminal. I believe that artists realize that they can reach into your nervous system and influence how you respond without you really being aware of what they're doing. And this is somehow the way they do it. So these flow through this way. You see it. Can you see how that works? Those link in that fashion. These link this way. So we have that coming through here. So we can open this up. We can come back and we can say, these work this way. There are many, many, many games going on in this piece. Collectively, I believe Ellsworth Kelly has revealed that he has a wonderful sense of humor, but more importantly, he's loved drawing all of his life, and he's able to employ the language with consummate success, and communicating a sense of humor is not an easy thing to do. I think he has. And I think they do look like little critters having a very, very good time and rolling and playing